see the other America. Of course, the federal response after Katrina was similar to the response after the riots in Los Angeles. People in Washington suddenly wake up. They're surprised that there's poverty in our midst and that others are frustrated and angry. And then there are panels, and there are hearings, and there are commissions, there are reports. Aid dollars are approved, but somehow the aid can't get to the people who really need them. And then nothing really changes except the news coverage quiets down. Now, this isn't to diminish the extraordinary generosity of the American people at the time. I want to thank the faculty and the students here at Southern for turning your field houses and dorms into shelters for so many in the aftermath of Katrina. We appreciate that. That act of kindness, the light in that storm, will never be forgotten. I want to thank the National Conference of Black Mayors for their efforts, securing more than $125 million in new market tax credits to assist with redevelopment and creating your own disaster relief fund that helped 5,000 families in 54 Gulf Coast communities. Extraordinary work by the mayors all across the country. But despite this extraordinary generosity, here we are 19 months later, after Katrina and Rita hit, 15 years later in the case of Los Angeles. And the homes haven't been rebuilt, the businessmen haven't been returned, those same communities are still drowning or smoldering under the same hopelessness as before tragedy struck. Southern, it is time for us to come together and take the bullet out. We have to remove the bullet from the arm of America. If we have more black men in prison than are in our colleges and universities, then it's time to take the bullet out. If we have almost 2 million people going to the emergency room for treatable illnesses like asthma that cost us $500 million a year, it's time to take the bullet out. If 1 in every 9 kids doesn't have health insurance, it's time to take that bullet out. If we keep sending our kids to dilapidated buildings, if we keep fighting this war in Iraq, a war that never should have been authorized and never should have been waged, a war that's costing us $275 million a day and the sacrifice of so many innocent lives, if we have all these challenges and nothing's changing, then every mayor in America needs to come together, form our own surgery teams, and take the bullet out. Let's start with education. We know what works. We know that if we put $1 in early childhood education, that we get $7 back in reduced dropout rates, reduced delinquency, reduced prison rates. More young people can go to college and get a good job. We know these programs work. An important study about a program called Abecedarian, in which children from low-income families, almost all of them black, receive full-time educational child care from infancy through age 5, said that children were 3 times more likely to go to college than children who didn't participate in the program. They were half as likely to become teen parents, half as likely to smoke marijuana. In another study about another effective program at the Perry Preschool, which served low-income African-American children in Michigan, kids needed special education less often, and they were 3 times as likely to own their own homes and half as likely to go on welfare. That early childhood program didn't just help this generation, it helped the next generation of children. So we know what it takes to improve our schools. We know that if children are learning in dilapidated buildings with teachers that are underpaid and textbooks that are 20 years old, they will not learn. To change this, we need to fundamentally reform No Child Left Behind. I am tired of slogans. The slogan is right, but how the law has been implemented has been wrong. The slogan is good, but how they left the money behind for No Child Left Behind is wrong. Let's get serious, mayors. Let's get serious, America. Let's finally make quality education accessible to every American child, so that every student can graduate from high school ready for college and work in a knowledge-based economy. And to begin this great transformation in our schools, we need to invest in the most important part of a child's education, the man or woman standing at the head of the classroom. As president, I will recruit hundreds of thousands of new teachers and principals. For what it costs, check this out, for what it costs us to fund the Iraq War for 30 days, we can recruit a new army, hundreds of thousands of teachers and principals, give them training, give them support, pay them more. That is something that we need to do all across America. There's no reason we don't do that. As president, I will recruit a new generation of science and technology leaders to teach our children the skills they need to be competitive. We need to expand summer learning opportunities for our children, emphasizing math and science. And students who live in poverty, who suffer from a learning disability, who don't speak English at home, all those children should get the extra help they need, and their children and their schools should receive the resources to help those students reach their full potential. I don't understand why the federal government would give a mandate for special education and then never provide school systems the money that they need to actually make sure these children succeed. That's an empty promise. That's sloganeering. Let's end with the slogans and actually get to work. I want to support teachers at all stages of their careers by increasing their salaries across the board, improving incentives to get the best teachers to work in our rural areas and in our most challenging inner-city schools, providing more resources so that teachers have more security and control over their classrooms, and by providing more opportunities for professional development. There are models of excellence in many communities that show when you put a great teacher in a classroom, students can learn. There's Murphy High School in Mobile, Alabama, and Rufus King in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's no shortage of great ideas. We just need to scale them up. We need to get past the old style of politics that only talks about education and actually start educating our kids for the 21st century. And while we're at it, let's do something for the young people who are already ready for college. Here at Southern University in Baton Rouge, I'm sure that it will come as no surprise when I say the college tuition rates are rising almost 10% a year. That's a burden on families and children. Those increases have priced out more than 200,000 students in 2004. And for what it costs, again, to fund the Iraq War for, check it out, 3 weeks, we could provide each student with a 4-year college education at a public college or university. Why wouldn't we want to do that?